Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Two Idiots Reading Comics. This week is episode 21, 100 Bullets. Thank you for coming back, listening to the podcast, or watching us on YouTube. Hopefully, we're getting some more interaction from everybody. We want this to be a community event. We want y'all to read. We want us to talk about it. We want y'all to engage with us. So please, comment, like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. But to make this more of an interactive talk between all of us, we need your participation. So go like us on Two Idiots RC on Twitter and Instagram. Follow us on YouTube at Two Idiots Reading Comics. And again, follow us on anywhere you listen to podcasts at Two Idiots RC, Two Idiots Reading Comics. I'm sorry, and hopefully we can keep this growing and being better and better. All right, let's get into it.
And welcome to episode 21, Two Idiots Reading Comics. Davis,
Yeah, buddy.
I don't like you this week.
I don't like you either, man.
It has a lot to do with that ugly-ass shirt you got
Well,
on.
you've been wearing these ugly-ass shirts for a while now. This weird orange and navy combination, whatever the fuck Auburn wears all the time.
Because I actually like my team year-round.
Well, I like my team too, but the hatred's strong this week.
For those of you that don't know anything about college football, the greatest rivalry in all of sports is Auburn, Alabama in football, and
it's this week.
This weekend.
It's this week.
And of course, Davis, in just so many aspects of his life has chosen the wrong side.
Oh, sure.
Wrong side. Chose the literal. He's already said he's an Empire guy, and now he's an Alabama fan. He is evil.
Hey, but who wins all the fucking
Rebels?
time?
The Rebels won.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Empire ruled for how many years before the Rebels ever even tried? Because of some lucky Jedi wannabe? Auburn,
You know what?
Auburn on the West Coast?
West Coast. We're farther
East Coast?
than
Whatever the fuck y'all are?
I just
Auburn.
it makes me mad how very real the how easily the story of Star Wars translates to the Iron Bowl, because we are just the rebels and we don't win a lot.
No, the fuck, they don't win a lot.
6 years in a row in the 2000s.
Yeah,
whatever.
well,
That's not what we're here
That's
to
the
talk about
past.
today. It's not what we're here to talk about today.
That's in a future time.
And
We'll
I'm
talk
sorry
about that
we
later.
just ruined everyone's ears and speakers. Today we're here to talk about comics.
Woo! That's the better. That's the one thing we can come together and agree on.
Yes. But today, 100 Bullets.
Yeah, man. Let's, I guess, go ahead and get some stuff out of the way.
Yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and credit. Written by Brian Azzarello. And that's
Artist.
one of those names. I know it's important, but I couldn't put a face to it. He is a great writer, though.
Yeah.
Eduardo
Risso.
Risso.
I'll go with Risso. Risso.
Yeah. Color Grant Gleason.
Galish.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, Galish. That's an H. My bad. Letters Clem Robbins and covered by Dave Johnson.
And then, of course, created by Brian Azzarello.
Yes.
This was created in 2000.
Yeah.
I did not realize that this comic was this old.
Yeah.
Now, again, another first time for me. You've read this before, correct?
I've read the first 2.5 volumes. I
Okay.
own 1 through 4. Haven't gotten to the other ones yet.
Okay. You read this back in college, right? And we talked about it,
No.
or is this a new addition to you?
The first time I read it was a year ago. I remember buying it when I first had my own apartment.
Okay.
I
right.
no longer have my own apartment for financial reasons, but it's a whole different story. We don't have to get into
we
here.
won't go there. Cool. Well, I mean, I remember this is another one that Tomlins usually brings up. He's a little bit more into the weirder worlds of comics than I am.
Yes.
But he brought up the fact that this is a different book.
Yeah.
And that motherfucker.
This is very.
You're gonna have to fill in some space.
Jesus Christ.
I got some issues going on over here.
For those of you that aren't watching on YouTube, David started playing with his mic, and now everything's loose. Start tightening it up.
Just keep talking.
Tighten it up.
Keep talking.
But yes, I've talked about it before. I'm a big premise guy. I love elevator pitches for comic books, and basically this whole one is just, let's just say there is. David's asking to pick up on the mic.
Just keep talking. I'll get it figured out here in a minute. There. All right, done.
Okay. Basically, there's something that has gone tragically wrong in your. You had it, Davis. God damn.
It's been a bad night. Go ahead.
Night.
It's a long night, man.
Basically, there has been something that has gone tragically wrong in your life. What if I gave you all the evidence that can prove who did it and how they did it? I'm also going to give you this gun that can't be traced and these bullets that can't be traced. And in fact, if any type of law enforcement at all on any level looks up or runs these gun or bullets, they're immediately told to leave you alone or just completely drop the case, period.
Yeah. And
you can basically get away with whatever you want with
that's really shown when you first gave me this idea, gave me this story arc.
Mm-hmm.
My idea was this was one person over the entirety of the story had 100 bullets and could do with it as they please. Retribution on their demons.
Yeah.
And the fact that this is multiple people.
Yes, this
with
is 100
bullets
walking around with a bunch of different briefcases that all contain a gun with 100 bullets.
And originally in my brain, in my head, of this is one guy with 100 bullets over the entirety.
Yes.
I was sitting there going, man, that ain't gonna last long. How are you gonna get multiples out of this? Mm-hmm. But then reading it, going, all right, multiple people, multiple guns, multiple 100 bullet briefcases. Really added to the whole idea of this is an overarching idea, and you really get to see that the gun
how do people react when they're allowed to murder scot-free?
Yeah, but first, you really get a real idea of this is untraceable, and you get scot-free when Dizzy is stopped by the men who killed her husband and child. And they literally, she's like 2 days
sexually harassing her.
She's 2 days out of jail.
Sexually harassing her, reach around, firearm. Fill her gun.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're definitely not supposed to have that.
Yeah.
So they call it in, and then they're told they have to let her go and give the gun back to
immediately.
Her. Yeah.
And then it comes to find out that there is no record that they called it in.
Yeah.
And both the cops know, oh, well, you're not against me. Somebody else is changing this.
Yeah.
And then it leads to some other aspects that happen. And again, totally honest, I'm handed a gun, said, all right, kill whoever you want that's wronged you in your life.
Yeah.
You're like the second guy. He's a accused child pornography distributor.
Yeah.
First girl, her husband and child have been murdered by crooked cops.
Yeah.
No questions asked. Straight to him, dead, moving on.
Yeah.
But both people have dilemmas with themselves of going, this is wrong. This is a setup. Something's wrong.
So, I guess we'll dive right into the first one. Dizzy gets, she just got out of jail for, I guess, a gangbanging situation.
Where she was the last one alive.
She was a sole survivor, so she kind of take the rap for it all. In that time, her husband and child get hit by a drive-by, who she just summed it up as the other gang was getting revenge by doing that to her, or maybe it was God getting revenge on her for being evil.
She turns very religious with it. She's like, I did wrong, so God's punishing my wrongdoings by taking it out on on the rest of my life.
Yeah. And then she gets on the way back to her house from jail. The infamous Agent Graves gets on the bus and is like, this is who killed your
Your family,
your
your
husband,
husband and
yeah.
child.
And is like, in this case, is irrefutable evidence of who did
Yep.
it and how they did it and stuff like that. And there's also a gun with untraceable bullets, and is also untraceable, and you, if caught by law enforcement, are immediately scot-free. And she's like, yeah, right, whatever. And first she walks around with it just because
Yeah,
I assume that's what you do in the hood.
And
Yep.
honestly, going back to she gets caught with the pistol,
Yeah.
I thought in my head, it was only the bullets are untraceable. Once you
Yeah.
commit the crime, the bullets have something on them.
Yeah, like
that
some kind of
says-
marking or something.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Right away. I didn't realize that the pistol itself
The number and all
is
that.
also.
Yeah.
That's it. Like this.
Mhm.
This is legal. This.
And that's where that's like her first moment of, oh, what that guy said was true, which means the rest of it's probably true.
Yep.
And she still isn't 100% sure on it. Until all the OGs is what they call them.
Yeah.
All the old
I'm gonna
guys.
go with this
on the-
old gangsters or old
Original
guys
gangsters,
or original gangsters.
is what OG stands for, but it's basically the elder guys that run the hood, and that's something we need to address. We are both white guys from the South.
Jeez.
I grew up in the suburbs. He grew out in the country. We're gonna say some shit that sounds off color. We don't mean it that way. And I'm gonna assume the same way. That's a Spanish last name. I don't know. I've never met Brian Azzarello, but this seems a little the way they make the Latino people talk in this comic.
Latino gangsters.
Yes.
I mean,
They're supposed to be gangsters, gang members. It's a little
there's some 90s
Calm
and
down there.
90s and early thousands movies that you with gangsters of
Yeah.
this era that you try to listen to.
he
and
kind of
they have
overdid
this-
it on the slang, is what I'm trying to say.
And the slang in this, it's a little tough. It's
Well,
tough to read because they're speaking because it's written like you would speak or like
Yeah,
you would
like you would
think
spell it, yeah.
they would speak or spell it,
Yeah.
and
And it
it's
was just a little over the top of something.
Yeah, I mean, you could have just said it normally,
Yeah.
and you would have understood, or I don't know.
You didn't
it
have
just-
to have that much slang, but
Yeah, it was very.
But then again, I don't know Brian Azzarello. He might have been around some of that stuff. I don't know, but I don't know where I was going with that point. But yeah. So Dizzy was kind of like, okay, this guy's for real, and yeah, what really set it off was someone killed all the OGs. And then she goes in there and is like, no, those guys did it. They're dirty cops. They're the same one that
Yeah.
killed. And that's when they kind of pulled her to a side and was like, we realize something's wrong. There's something up with that gun you got. And we don't know how all of a sudden you're allowed to get away with stuff. We don't like it. And you need to go talk to whoever's in this building. And it was her brother,
Now-
Emilio.
I got a question.
Yeah.
When you first read this,
Yeah.
me personally, when I first read this,
Uh-huh.
I thought they knew who Graves was.
Yes.
Personally,
They
did you get that same idea?
Yes, but then Emilio comes in and says,
Yep.
hey, this is what we're
Yeah.
doing. Basically, says a whole bunch of shit, or basically telling him what's going on. Hey, I'm kind of the new boss on the block.
Yeah.
The OG's disrespecting me. I'm working with the dirty cops.
I ended up
Um,
getting your husband, and well, he didn't say it.
Yeah.
The cops ended up
How
saying.
do you think? Or, yeah.
That- he ended up. Her brother Emilio ended up getting Dizzy's husband and child killed.
That's when not Agent Graves. That's when the two dirty cops come in.
Swirsky and Morgan.
Yeah. They shoot Emilio because they assumed that's how she knew.
Okay,
Because-
and that's when I realized it when Swirsky and Morgan, the crooked cops,
Yeah.
start telling Dizzy like, "Hey, we know what's going on. We know,"
They
What
thought
you're doing.
Emilio had told her already.
and she's thinking that they knew who Graves was. To me, that's what I thought was
Yeah.
happening.
That's when she walked in. She was like, Emilio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he goes on this long spiel, and
But
it
yeah.
just
Then he basically says, well, actually, your friend, Emilio's friend, just got picked up for attempted rape at like a suburban white girl.
yeah.
And
that Emilio was selling heroin to.
yeah. And he basically spilled the beans about Emilio working with the dirty cops and stuff. He's like, we can't have that now, can we?
Yeah.
And we thought she already knew, but apparently not. So we're going to kill you. But hey, Dizzy, you can start working for us now.
Yeah.
No one knows about you. And that's when she grabs the gun that Graves gave her.
That Emilio had taken from her.
Yeah. And shot the 2 dirty cops. And Emilio was like, sweet, now we're going to run this blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. She takes the heroin, dumps it on him. Because in that, as the cops were like spilling the beans about their whole plan, about how they're working together, Emilio selling heroin that they're busting and they're confiscating and drug busts and stuff like that. That Hector, who she thought had gone straight, was running it from the house. And
well, he was running the gangs. He wasn't actually handling anything.
Yes, he was running the gangs.
He was running the groups.
And the dirty cops had originally went to him to try to offer this deal, and he said no.
Right.
And that's why the dirty cops shot him in the drive-by. And then
because
turns
Emilio
out
agreed
Emilio
to take that deal.
Yeah, took that deal and said, I know where he'll be. You can kill him then. And so Dizzy found out about that, and she said, well, now I'm going to leave you bullet holes all in you. Looks like you just killed these dirty cops. And
With
now
cocaine over
got
everybody.
heroin over everybody.
Heroin, not cocaine.
And that's how the first one kind of plays out. And Agent Graves pulls up as she's walking out.
It wasn't Graves.
Oh, no, is that
It
Mr.
was,
Shepard guy?
Yeah, Shepard. Was it Shepard?
Yeah, it was Mr. Shepard.
Yeah.
Who, I guess, works with Agent Graves.
Yes,
Like
he's an assistant. I wrote that down.
Yeah, and she was praying at a church before all this happened.
Shepard. Like, Mr. Shepard, Agent Graves' associate.
And was like, yeah, I'm here to push it. You are about payback. Why don't you just go ahead and settle the bill or something like that? And gave that extra push to her. And she was like, am I done? He said, you can be if you want. And she got in the car with him. So I assume she comes back at some point. Hasn't happened as far as I've read.
So, to me, the 100 bullets and the gun, and we see this in the second guy, he's so hell-bent on getting revenge.
Yeah.
But
he was
for
more about
Dizzy, there was actually physical dilemma, mental dilemma.
Yeah, because she did not want to go back to her old ways.
And knowing that her brother, she says brother, Emilio, betrayed Hector, she still doesn't kill him because she's like, there is worse fates than death. Yeah. She wants him to serve his retribution, and that the cops need to die because they are fucking crooked and awful. But it's almost like in her own mind, like there is, this isn't just cut and dry. They need to die. Yeah. They deserve death. Like there's something more, and that the second guy, all he seeks is death. That all he wants is to avenge himself. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're both pretty bad situations, but second guy, ooh,
wow.
I guess we'll dive into him now. His name is Lee. And turns out he had this amazing life. He was living the American dream.
A chef, restaurateur,
had his own restaurant. Very well reviewed, very famous restaurant. Wife and kids, the whole 9 yards. Randomly one day, child pornography was found on his laptop, and then FBI come break down his door. Yeah, and
not possession, but they
tried to get him on. They
distribution.
They tried to get him on distribution. Didn't have enough evidence, but it was still like, I mean, it ruined his life.
Oh yeah,
now he's just bartending at some shitty bar.
Yeah, 2 kids, don't want anything doing with ex-wife that literally took everything from him.
Yep.
I mean, because at the time he's dealing in child pornography.
Yeah. And here comes Agent Graves, walking in with the same deal. Yeah. Says, hey, this is what's her face?
I didn't write down the name,
but some prudy rich white lady. And she did this to you, and here's this case, and she's actually going to be here tonight. Yeah. And Lee did not take much convincing.
No.
He was ready to do it. He was going to do it in the bathroom.
No, he was going to do it. He had a mental thing that he did it in the bar. with
Oh
everybody.
yeah, he had like a
Yeah.
flash of like
Yeah. Oh, I'm just gonna do it right here.
But then he was like, you know what? She's about to walk in the bathroom. I'll go do it there. And then a prostitute walks in with a gun. And they're like, Jesus, what are you doing with a gun?
It's like, oh, I'm
Stuff like
shooting
that.
rats. And that's just the
yeah.
fact that everybody's just so. He says, "Oh, I'm shooting rats," and everybody's like, "Oh, okay, cool." And the prostitute just gets down and is about to suck the dude's dick, and I'm like, "Wow, if I walked in on somebody with a gun in a bathroom,
yeah.
I would have way more questions than, oh, he's just gonna shoot rats. Cool.
I'd be like, I'm gonna find another place to suck some dick.
Yeah.
But that's gonna clip.
That's your own. That's your own personal stuff there, buddy.
All right. But anyways, I mean, I edit this shit. Who cares? But yeah, so prostitute finds another place to handle her business.
Oh, she doesn't. You did it right there in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's a good point. But
he doesn't kill the girl
I guess
in the bathroom.
She drops her brooch or whatever.
He steals it.
Oh yeah, he steals
it. He says he finds it,
yeah.
but then she ends up saying, "No, you
Which,
stole
how do
this
you
from
not?
me."
How do you not look up that she runs a security firm before you go in there and try to kill her?
Well, that's something I was looking.
Lee was not the brightest.
That I thought about in this is Dizzy thought about this methodically.
Yes.
She was a gangbanger on the streets, but she was smart enough to understand, okay, this isn't just cut and dry. There are aspects to this where she didn't just kill Izzy or Emilio.
Yeah.
Where Lee literally, again, just wants revenge. He doesn't give a shit what happens, where people are from, so he just wants to kill her.
Until he goes into that office and she's like, look.
Oh, I'll give you whatever you want. Millions, add a zero. What do you want?
I can change it just like that.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, whoever's after me obviously gave you that gun. And I'm going to need that gun. And he's like, drive a hard bargain. And what a fucking idiot.
Well,
she don't give her the gun.
She goes, you didn't really just find this, did you? He goes, no. She says, you stole this from me. He goes, yeah. Pow.
You weren't a good person. Yeah.
Through his skull. And
then at the end we get a little bit of hint to, all right, there's a larger story.
A world,
at play here.
a setup. A world
she calls
setup.
somebody and is like, apparently Agent Graves is still alive.
Yeah.
And
who gives zero shits about life because he just kills his dog for barking. And
yeah.
That was weird. I didn't understand that. It's like,
I think this is a bad dude we're fucking with here.
Okay, all right, that makes sense because he just the dog barks, he kills the dog, and the girl goes, "What was that?" He said, "Oh, don't worry about it. It was just a pest," or along those lines. And I'm guessing, like you said, it is more of no. Okay, he's an evil guy. He's just that fucking evil.
But yeah, the very, very entertaining opening to a good series. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think this only goes 12 volumes. I could be wrong.
Still a lot. I mean, that's still.
But a very good candidate to possibly become a continuous.
Yeah. Again, like we always say, this is a volume 1. It's a starter. We like starting with volume 1. We don't like getting into the weeds and having to redo.
Yes.
But when I first read this, not read anything past this, I was sitting there trying to figure out, okay, where's this going?
Yeah.
Where is this leading to? Are we literally just gonna have stories of Graves shows up, gives a pistol to somebody, says, "All right, take care of your business," or and they set up something where there is a villain, there is a higher there is a purpose that
there is
will somewhere go to.
They get a little bit more into that in volume 2.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. If y'all want to hear about it, if you want us to read it, talk about it, let us know.
Yeah. But I mean, it was pretty much a world builder. So
yeah, I get that and I understand.
That's kind of all volume 1 was.
Yeah.
But, we are already above time, so I guess. And you got any final thoughts?
Not really. Again, I think that it flowed very nicely.
Yes.
The only critique is the way that they tried to write it as it sounds in real life, which makes it kind of hard to read.
Yeah, the slang was a little tough at some
like
points.
didn't DIDN.
Yeah,
I know I don't spell, and I'm a horrible speller, but trying to read that was a little difficult.
and as far as I know, that's only this one.
Okay.
So,
I mean, once you got past Dizzy and Emilio, it kind of progressed forward. Now,
and
there's this weird thing at the end with the last 4 or 5 pages.
Yeah, I don't think that ties in heavily.
Just none of that ties in.
It hasn't been referenced in the feature ones,
but I'm with you. I think Dizzy's gonna play a role.
I do think she comes back up.
I think she had all rights, all rights to kill Emilio, and she didn't. She chose. She's like, look, I only killed the people that killed my husband and child.
Yeah, and I don't know.
You helped, but you didn't kill them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Graves...
And I don't think you would show her getting back into that limo as Shepard if she wasn't going to come back.
And I think that's something that Graves and this guy is, okay, we give you this gun. Are you going to act immediately like Lee did and screw up and fuck up?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you going to be methodical like Dizzy and actively try to put the puzzle together, figure out what happened, and then only act on the people that actually did something wrong to you?
Yeah.
And just punish the other, but not kill them.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't gotten that far into it, but definitely a great start.
Yeah, it's a very good story.
Obviously, if you couldn't tell by our descriptions of it, this one is not for kids.
No, this is not a kid's book.
So, don't know if we have any parent-child listeners out there, but maybe skip the child on this one. But
this one gets a little dark.
Not to mention just strippers everywhere.
Even with the strippers, they don't show anything.
No, they don't show anything.
I mean, a
lot of thongs popping out.
A lot of thongs. It's covered. Everything's covered.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the jail women's shower, everything's covered. I mean, very, I guess, tasteful. I don't know the right word for that. It's not just boobs and.
It's not
titties,
HBO out there.
It's not HBO out there.
But that'll do it for this week. Be sure to go follow us on all our social media, 280SRC. If you're listening to the podcast, go subscribe on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, go follow us on podcast, whatever you like to listen to them. And I mean, I have podcasts that I listen to or watch on YouTube. I subscribe to them both. Just whatever I'm feeling that day. Don't forget Things I Read, coming out every Thursday morning. Love that people are starting to watch that. That's awesome. Helps my ego because I definitely was scared that no one was going to watch it. But yeah, I don't remember what we have for next week.
It'll be December. I really don't either. We're going to have to look back at our notes.
We're filming this in
September. End of September.
So we just got mad about a season that hasn't even started yet for us, but that's how the rivalry runs. But happy Thanksgiving to everyone. We didn't even mention that.
Seriously.
We were more excited about the Iron Bowl than Thanksgiving.
But again, if you've been around for this long, again, this is SU episode 21.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this at the end of this episode, thank you for hanging around. We thank y'all, and we're thankful for y'all listening and subscribing, and hope y'all have a great Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. If not, enjoy the Iron Bowl.
I think everybody's
enjoy rivalry weekend. And if you don't enjoy football, enjoy your day by reading comics and blacking out the world. Don't listen to him. He's about to say some bad shit.
At least a 3-day weekend to read comics.
Yeah, no, 4.
4, yeah.
4-day weekend. 4-day weekend to read
Hopefully
comics.
You don't have to work Friday or Wednesday, but
yeah.
But yeah, I guess we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.